diving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good evening, right? 15 minutes to evening. So, sun's going down. As we alcoholics say, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. All right. I haven't seen you all day, Katie. Where you been? He's like, you've been asleep, Dad. Hi, Ingrid. Good to see you. No, nothing's really wrong with my wrist. I just haven't gotten it taken care of yet. Yeah, it's really not that bad. I only remember that I need to do something about it when it hurts. Don't our forgetters work so well, don't they? You know, I'll forget that I got a DUI last weekend and go back out drinking and driving, right? You guys have been so cuddly this week. Is it because Mom's not here? It's because Mom's not here. Right? Daddy needs his love. I love kitty cats. If you can, they're so cute. If I stop, he'll go for my nose. He'll be a poop, poop. When I first got him, I'd be asleep and he would crawl underneath my arm and nibble on the end of my nose when he was a kitten. I wish you could be a kitten again. Me too. Yes. It's like, I hate that, Dad. And your breath stinks. All right. We got to the 3-minute mark. Thanks, Kitty, for getting us to the 3-minute mark. Welcome to Daily Trudge. I'm Dion. If you're here, please say hello. I'm reading out of A Day at a Time today. On this one, I think it's like January 2nd or 3rd or something like that. Oh man, yeah. I keep my bedroom door open, so I don't know what. Ever since I moved in with Shannon, 12, 13, 14 years ago, bedroom door's usually been open. If I'm not drinking. If I'm drinking, it was closed. It was. That was a lie. That was a lie from Al-Anon. I don't know what that means. Can you let me know what you mean by that? Maybe I said something that made you say that. I didn't forget what I say. Oh, from Al-Anon. No, I'm reading the Hazelden A Day at a Time. Got it. I get what you're saying. I do keep the Al-Anon one though. This is called Courage to Change. But it says 1 day at a time in Al-Anon 2. So, yep. So this one, January 3rd. Where am I reading from? If you want to follow. Woohoo! Of course you do. I tell you this, most people in AA that get past 12 steps and do stuff, they have that book also. There's a lot to learn, man. So, my addiction is threefold in that it affects me physically, mentally, and spiritually. There's a fourth one. What about emotionally? Mentally and emotionally are not the same thing. I'm not going to text you a picture. There, take a picture. We could read it this way. My addiction is threefold in that it affects me physically, mentally, and spiritually. Okay. And I'm going to add emotionally onto this. Okay. Because we tend to think mental and emotional are the same thing. Right. Oh, so you can buy a picture of it. Yeah. I'll take a picture of the front and send it to you. It's just Hazelden. It's Hazelden literature. Hazelden literature is approved by AA, by the way. I've always been a huge fan of Hazelden literature. I love A Day at a Time. So absolutely. Sorry, I misunderstood what you were asking. As a chemically dependent person, I was totally out of touch, not only with myself, but with reality. It can get weird. When I was detoxing, I would hear things. I would see things. People would talk to me. It wasn't real. Okay? I'd have conversation with people that didn't even fucking exist. I was so out of tune. I was so out of touch. I was so isolated. I didn't know what was going on in the world. I had no clue. I had no clue. Day after miserable day, like a caged animal on a treadmill, I repeated my self destructive pattern of living. Have I begun to break away from my old ideas? Just for today, can I adjust myself to what is rather than to adjust everything to my own desires? I tell you, life's a lot easier when you decide to adjust to what's going on around you rather than manipulating people into being the way that you want them to. It won't work ever. I've never seen it work for anybody in this whole world. So when we first get here, what's the first thing that we need to deal with? The physical. Okay. The physical part being that we got to get off the hooch. We got to get off the alcohol. None of this will work if there's alcohol in your system. It just won't. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde will step in. They will take over. Alcohol will take over. Once I put alcohol into me, I am no longer in control. Once I have intentionally put alcohol into my system, I am no longer in control of my faculties. I'm no longer in control of what I say and what I do, and that is scary. It is scary because then we do silly things like jump off roofs. We'll go run through fucking traffic. I'm not. This is all stuff I'm sure I've heard, but and maybe I'm going a little extreme. I don't think I am. In the life of an alcoholic, extreme is normal. Okay. And we cannot live with those extremes anymore. So, what happens once we get the physical part done? What should be next? The spirituality. I have found that when we work on our spiritual malady, everything else just falls into place. Sorry, I had an itch. And I couldn't get to it sitting down. So, right. Then after the spirituality, Adama Wasu Alien Pro. I don't understand, but welcome, Adams. Good to have you. Oh, I see. You were putting your name and something else. So, but good to have you. Um, Once we have started to work on our spiritual malady, a lot of the problems that we had in this life are going to start to disappear, or they're going to become right. They're going to start to become right sized. Okay. So once we get into spirituality, we've got to work. Okay. Don't worry about mental. Mental comes last. Okay. Mental comes last. What are we going to work on there? What are we going to work on after our spiritual malady? Our emotional malady. See, a lot of us have failed to grow up. Alcohol has kept us stunted. I started drinking at 13 years old, and that's where my emotional abilities ended. Right. So when I became, when I got into my 20s and my 30s, and I'm acting like a 13-year-old, that behavior just doesn't fly anymore, does it? It doesn't. So we must take care of all three of these things. All three of these things. Let's see what else we have. I pray that I may not be caught up again in the downward destructive spiral which removed me from myself and from the realities of the world around me. How are we going to do that? Well, stay connected. Stay connected with people. Be accountable. It does not matter how much time you have. You've got to be accountable. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Amber. I'm glad you're here, though. I pray that I may adjust to people and situations as they are instead always trying unsuccessfully and with endless frustration to bend them to my own desires. Today, I'll remember I can change. I can only change myself. Okay. So here's the good news, and here's the bad news. I'm going to give you the bad news first. Bad news, you're the problem. Good news, you're the problem. What did it say? I can change only myself. So that's the good news, isn't it? See, the way to freedom is by letting all of this go. We think that we need to fight when what we really need to do is come into agreement. Now, just because we're coming into an agreement with something doesn't mean we necessarily have to believe in it also. Okay? This is part of picking your battles, man. Pick your battles. Okay? Fight the ones that are really true, worth something. And even then, fighting's not even is not valid for us, is it? It's kind of hard to bring around justice. So how do we do that? We do that by example. By example only. It's the only way that you can do it. How do you fight stigma? You educate. Not everybody's going to want to listen. Trust me on this. Not everybody's going to want to listen to it. Okay? I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Okay? I'm like a fine tea, man. Now, a lot of people can't handle me. I ain't your mother's Earl Grey, I can tell you that. I know I'm a little bit rougher. I know I can be mean a little bit. Actually, I don't think I'm very mean at all. Actually, I think I'm a pretty fucking nice guy, right? But is that ego? What is it? What is it that's talking there? You know? Oh no. I do know this. It's Friday night, and I know a lot of fucking sober people tonight. I was just in the 3 o'clock, and the subject was God, and and uh, and I said, there's 42 people here on a Friday on payday talking about their feelings. Something's working. Something's happening. God's working right now, right now. So yeah, that's twice now, but you were close. Now I'm finishing up. That was the last thing I was going to say. Um, so I think I'm going to go play Spider-Man 2. It's been pretty cool. It's a cool game. You know what sucks though is a lot of these games are not geared towards Gen Xers anymore. So, um, but I tell you what, with this game, I'm learning some things about other people. And I think that's good also. You know, it's kind of showing me what's important to these people. And they fucking matter. They're children of God. They matter, man. So, all right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. Um, I hope everybody has a great Friday night. Amber, I'm sorry that you're going through that, but I'm glad that you're sober too. And I know Starburst is. I know Starburst appreciated their life a lot more this last year because of you. And isn't it so cool that we get to be those people now? Makes me want to fucking cry. Right? What a gift. What a gift. All right. I love you all, especially you two. Peace out and have a night.